"I'll tell you," said Baird. "It means this. Out of a total field of 56, our one chance of survival depends on there being a person aboard this plane who is not only qualified to land it, but who also didn't have fish for dinner tonight." Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genres Gone Wild because it's Garbaugust, as the bingo card tells you. Today I'm talking about Flight into Danger from John Castle and Arthur Hailey. This book is a convergence in the Garbaugust universe. I think it's a book which is a lot more important to pop culture and far outweighs its importance in pop culture compared to its current readership or audience. Certainly for me, I've realised how many connections there are to things I love. I have found connections to my favourite television show, my favourite band, and a movie that I've seen I don't know how many times. Flight into Danger began as a television script written by Arthur Hailey. He is a former RAF pilot who, after the Second World War, decided he didn't like that mucky socialist Labour government and absconded to Canada. He is the man who would go on to write Airport, amongst many other books, but Airport is his standout hit. The film adaptation of this book would usher in all the fantastic disaster movies from the 1970s. But before we get to the 1970s, let's bring it back to 1956 when the script was first written. It was picked up by the Canadian Broadcasting Company and it was broadcast as live television in a play in April of 1956. The script was picked up by the Canadian Broadcasting Company and produced as a live play, so a televised play, in April of 1956. It was a smash hit, lauded by critics who said it was one of the best things that's been on television ever. Its star, the hero of the story, was played by James Doohan, who went on to find global fame as Scotty from Star Trek. And the show was produced by Sidney Newman. The programme was very well received. It had a huge audience in Canada. It was lauded by the critics as one of the best things that's ever been on television. This was 1956, so they didn't have a huge back catalogue to compare it against. It was remade in America 5 months later. Always the mark of when you know you've made it, when the Americans decide to copy it. So that was broadcast on NBC. The original CBC broadcast was then broadcast on the BBC and became a hit, or a ratings hit, in the UK as well. So much so that executives from ABC Weekend Television in Britain, one of the very new independent television stations, decided to poach Sidney Newman and bring him over as a producer for them. Whilst he was at ABC, he gave the world the Avengers. And when, in turn, the BBC poached Newman from ABC, he ended up, as well as some, gritty, worthy, play of the week productions, gave the world Doctor Who. Anyway, back to the book. The idea of Flight into Danger, and no doubt the huge success of Flight into Danger, led John Castle to write a novelisation of the TV script. John Castle is a writer who's probably best known for his book The Password is Courage. So a novelisation was created and Arthur Hailey received a co-writing credit, and it was released as Flight into Danger in the UK and Canada and as Runway 08 in the United States. Whilst John Castle was writing the novelisation of the original script, Arthur Hailey was reworking his original script along with Hall Bartlett and John Champion into a film script. This new, expanded, bigger budget production was now named 0 Hour, and it was released in 1957. As you can see, all of this happens very quickly. In the space of 2 years, we've had the original CBC production, we've had the NBC remake, there was a German remake, it was broadcast in the BBC, we've got the novelisation, we now have the film script written and the film actually produced. This work is already proliferating and must have been capturing something to get such a wide audience at that time. So what is the story actually about? Well, maybe these clips from 0 Hour will show you, and although I should imagine most people have guessed where I'm going by this point, quite a few more people will guess by the end of these clips.
Are you a doctor?
That's right.
We have a passenger who's very sick. Could you come and take a look at her?
Yes, of course. Captain, how soon can we land?
Can't.
Why?
Weather conditions. Fog has closed down everything this side of the mountain.
Get him out of there! What was it we had for dinner tonight?
Well, the main course was meat or fish.
Yes, I remember I had meat.
The woman ate fish, too, and there are 2 more cases, and they ate fish.
Well, now we know what we're facing.
Doctor?
Yeah?
I just remembered something. I ate fish too.
The life of everybody aboard depends on just one thing. Finding someone back there who not only can fly this plane, but who didn't have fish for dinner.
As soon as the fog lifts, we'll bring you in. I'll take it, Ellen. No dice, Vancouver. I'm coming straight in now. Dr. Baird says the sick people are in critical condition and every minute counts.
But he can't bring it down in this soup. It's 100 to 1 anyway.
I know, but it's his ship now, his command.
It was fair to say that 0 Hour didn't set the world on fire, but it was successful for Arthur Hailey enough to continue writing, and he went on to find success with his novel Hotel in 1965. And then, in 1968, came his smash hit, Airport. This was the best-selling novel of 1968. It was top of the New York Times bestseller list for 30 weeks. The film adaptation of Airport was the second highest grossing film of 1970. It had 10 Oscar nominations, and without the power of the film Airport to invent the modern disaster movie and possibly resurrect the old disaster movie, thank you Deluge and S. Fowler Wright, without Airport there would be no Poseidon Adventure, there would be no Towering Inferno, there would be no Earthquake, let alone the lesser incarnations of the 1970s disaster film. These films are something very on brand for Garbaugust. The Swarm, Flood, When Time Ran Out, Airport 1975, Airport 1977, Airport 1979, Le Concorde, and Roller Coaster, which starred George Segal, Richard Widmark, Henry Fonda, and my favourite band, Sparks. With such smash Hollywood hits, with the near misses, with the absolute ducks, with the pale imitators, there was only one way it was going to go, and the next stage, at the end of the 70s, was parody. When Jim Abrams and David and Jerry Zucker were in the middle of producing Kentucky Fried Movie, they caught a showing of 0 Hour on the television and absolutely loved it for its B-movie shortcomings. They wanted to make a spoof of Airport, and they returned to the source. Airport being Arthur Hailey's smash hit, they've gone back to this script for 0 Hour from 1957 and used it as the framework for their film Airplane. That they could have got away with just being a parody, but looking into it, they found that they could actually buy the rights to the script for $2,500, so they did. And therefore we are able to see a lot of the dialogue turn up in Airplane itself, just played in a very deadpan way, possibly with a punchline at the end of almost every sentence. This film, Airplane, is the one that I have seen countless times. I have no idea how many times I saw it as a child. I would happily sit down and watch it again today. It's just seared on my brain. Of course, Airplane itself repeated the cycle, and the Airport began with the disaster movie, and the spoof movie is now such a pale imitation of these original hits like Airplane and Top Secret and, possibly Hot Shots. There are a plethora of films that come out parodying Hollywood blockbusters these days. I don't watch any of them. But comedy's gain in the case of Airplane is this novel's loss, unfortunately. It's not a great work of literature. You'll be shocked to learn. But it is tightly plotted. It has great structure. It has rising tension. And I can't take it at all seriously. On almost every page there is a reminder of what is to come with Airplane. There are plenty of differences from the film Airplane, names, relationships, but there are far too many similarities for this book to be truly successful in its endeavours to engage a reader, more certainly a reader who has seen the film. Is it, however, trash? Is it garbage? I think intrinsically, on its own merits, I'd have to give it a marginal yes. It's a schlocky thriller. It's a novelisation. It has 2 credited authors. It is cashing in on Arthur Hailey's recent success with Airport. What makes it, however, the creme de la creme of trash is its influence on a whole genre, not only of literature, because there are plenty of disaster books that came out after Airport, but of course of cinema too. But what raises it even higher and makes this book suffer, certainly when I'm reading it, is the subsequent parody and the fact that I've discovered all of this in the wrong order. I watched Airplane when I was a very young child, 7 years old perhaps. Perhaps I shouldn't have been allowed to watch that movie at 7 years old. But I discovered that film before I discovered Airport, before I discovered 0 Hour, before I discovered the novel. I would say the original novel, but we've established it's not original. It evolved initially from a television script. I think what we have here is the inception of the Garbaugust world. I absolutely loved it for all the wrong reasons. Flight into Danger is one of the many books I've read in this first week of Garbaugust 2025, and there'll be a full wrap-up tomorrow of my Anything Goes portion of Garbaugust. As you can see from the bingo card, there's been some activity. This book, I think, ticks off both the novelisation tie-in aspect and vintage trash. But I've doubled up on those because I have others that have qualified, which I'll show you tomorrow. Until then, bye.
Striker, you all right? Okay.
Ted, that was probably the lousiest landing in the history of this airport. But there's some of us here, particularly me, who'd like to buy you a drink and shake your hand.